Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes Overreaction Monday. I'm the Brofect1 AJ. This is the Money Train, the man with the numbers, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond. All hail the king of the links, my buddy, Mr. Noah. Noah, how you doing today, bro? Hell of a weekend in the NFL.
Yes, it was.
Dude,
Hell of,
unbelievable.
a hell of a weekend for college football, too. A little shakeup in the top 10. We will get to that at a later video. I'm excited to cover that. And hey, we got Arizona basketball tonight, baby.
Hey, it's a beautiful time to be a sports fan, especially going into Thanksgiving week. Shout out to Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Degens out there that will be watching the games more and with more interest than they will of what their cousin is doing with their life right now. So shout out to Thanksgiving football, basketball, college basketball, all of it for making...
And World Cup.
Shout out the World Cup to U.S. Going in 1-1, getting the draw against Wales. I mean, I watched that game because I was bored as shit at work. But, soccer's still soccer. It's cooler that the boys are playing, but it's still soccer.
Hey, I don't fucking follow it at all, but correct me if I'm wrong, but we should have won that game today.
Yeah, we should have. That goal at the end was bullshit. With the penalty kick and everything. That was a ridiculous call. The fix is in. Don't forget, FIFA is one of the most corrupt things in the world. Honest to God. I would put them up there with, Monsanto or something like that. They're pretty fucking bad. But, you know what? No, I'm done talking about fake football. Let's talk about the real football, all right? NFL happened this week. Week 11, hell of a week, and it started with a barn burner. And I think I'm being generous when saying that, but I'll call it a barn burner because it was in Lambeau Field. Titans went into the Packers and said, "Who's your daddy, Rodgers?" That would be Tractor Cito and Ryan Tannehill. Incredible game by Tannehill. He went 22 for 27, 333 yards with 2 touchdowns. I mean, when a quarterback plays that good, I don't give a shit how good your defense is or how good your offense is. That team is going to win the game, and they did, 27-17, shutting down the Packers. I will say, though, Noah, I will say, all right, I'm not going crazy right now and saying, well, they're done or anything like that. I will say I saw moments. I saw moments where I'm like, that's right. This is the Green Bay Packers. They're good at football. They can figure this shit out. They got a 2-time MVP. And it's nice to see that again, but is it sustainable? I'm not sure. Noah, they're sitting at 4-7 right now. We were talking a little bit out off air. The NFC is kind of rough this year, so they're still in the playoff hunt. What are your thoughts as part owner of the Packers, Noah? What's your analysis on how your team's doing?
I mean, they look like shit, but yeah, the season should be over. If you talk to a lot of Packers fans or look at the vibe of the fan base, people are completely thinking it's over. Actually, not just the Packers fan base. I mean, kind of everyone around the NFL. Counting them out. I'm not quite going to do that yet. Not because I have faith in this team turning it around or looking good. Just the fact that the NFC looks the way it does and the Packers are only 2 games outside of a wild card spot.
Yeah.
So should they be dead? Yes. Are they? Probably. Realistically, they're still completely alive in the water right now. I mean, 1 or 2 more losses and it's over, but I mean,
shit.
If they find a way to go into Philly and win, I mean, they still got the Bears and the Lions 1 more time each. They're not going to lose to the Lions twice in a season. They own the Bears. They got the Rams at home. The Rams have looked even worse than the Packers.
God awful.
And then you've got a game at the Dolphins and a home game against the Vikings. I don't think they lose twice to the Vikings either.
No.
So if they find a way to beat the Eagles in Philly, could they run the table? Maybe. If they do, they'll be in the playoffs. So, that's the thing. I'm not holding on to a ton of hope, but realistically, yeah, they could still make the playoffs.
No, and that's the NFL. And like we've seen, the Eagles are very beatable. The Vikings are very beatable. And so it's going to be a matter of whether Roger can get the offense running together, if the special teams can stop fucking up every other day. And, that defense, I mean, as long as that defense stays healthy, I still think that's the best part of your game. Like, if you're holding on to any hope as a Packers fan, you got to rest your hat on the defense. At least you're not getting blown out.
They're not healthy, and that was part of the problem against the Titans. No Rashawn Gary, no Eric Stokes, a couple other pieces missing. Like, I still think there's like a 50% chance that this team somehow finds a way to stumble and trip into the playoffs.
Hey, they could.
And then the slate is wiped clean if you make the playoffs. Like, if they somehow find a way to do that, it's a brand new season.
Oh, it doesn't matter at that point. Yeah, brand new season. You might as well be 0-0. But shout out to the Packers. Noah, let's go ahead and move on so that
Hey, we do have to mention, though, that the Titans are a good football team. I've been saying this for weeks.
Very good football team.
The public doesn't seem to agree for whatever reason. I can't wrap my mind around that. But they're now 7-3 after their 0-2 start. Have won 7 in their last 8 games. Their only loss, a close one that they should have won against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So the Titans should probably be on an 8-game win streak right now. Let's not sugarcoat it. And I'm not just saying that because they beat the Packers. Because I've been saying this for weeks before they even played the Packers. The Titans are a damn good team. Watch out for them. They'll be good. They'll be around.
No, the Titans are going to fuck around, and they might make it to the second, third round of the playoffs, depending on. They just got an issue in the playoffs. They have an issue in the playoffs, but we'll cover that more.
I mean, do they though? Like, they just haven't been the best team in the AFC. They choked last year, but before that, they made it to the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. Almost beat the Chiefs. Almost made it to the Super Bowl. So, like, the Titans aren't that far off, and I would say their biggest glaring weakness is, Tannehill. If they had a better quarterback, like, God, who knows what the ceiling could be for this team.
All right. So fair enough, Noah. Now let's talk about a team that's absolutely out of it. All right. Let's talk about a team that brings me utter sadness. And no, I'm not talking about the Cardinals game going on right now while we record. In Mexico City, it's 17-10 right now, and the 49ers looking like they're making a drive. Shout out to the Cardinals for sucking. Let's talk about them Chicago Bears. Stop, Bears. They went to Atlanta. They put up a hell of a fight, 24-27, coming down to a field goal. I mean, I would like to personally thank Bill Belichick, first of all, because ever since he said such nice words about the Bears and about Justin Fields has gone off. Just absolutely off. And he has shown that he can be that quarterback. Now in this game, not so much. 14 for 21. I mean, I'll take it. It's over 50%, but still wish he was a little bit better. He is day-to-day now with a shoulder separation, so be interesting to see what he does with that. But I think I can breathe as a Bears fan. For once, I think we're getting to the moment. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not making the playoffs this year. They're not doing anything crazy this year. But I think for the first time in a long time, we can, as Bears fans, collectively breathe and say, okay, we're moving in the right direction. We're not taking huge steps in the right direction, but we are moving in that direction of winning football, winning mentality, and all of that. Will it be another couple of years? Yes. I am not going to put my marbles and say, well, the Bears are winning the Super Bowl next year. That's not going to happen. I wish it was, but it's not going to happen. But you give this team 2-3 years, I think we could be looking at, a Trevor Lawrence situation, how he's going to develop with that team if they can keep him. But shout out to the Bears, Justin Fields, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, Matt Eberflus, for figuring shit out. We'll see how Justin Fields, though. What are you thinking, bro?
Yeah, their offense seems like it's actually starting to click. Justin Fields starting to actually kind of look like a quarterback. They also blew up their defense, and it's showing.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a absolute dog shit defense. They're still not going to win very many games this year because of that. But they've been a big friend of the over this season as of late, because their offense is putting up points. Their defense can't do shit to stop any team. On the flip side, hey, shout out to the Falcons for getting off to a 5-6 start for a team that was supposed to be deep into a rebuild. And if you have this kind of success when you're in a full fucking rebuild, you got to have some optimism if you're the Falcons.
Oh, 100%. And I think that really speaks to just the talent level now in the NFL. Marcus Mariota, a perennial backup, just coming in and, he's playing okay football, and that's all you need sometimes in the NFL when you got so much talent. Cordell Patterson, Holy crap, that guy is an absolute
What a
stud.
revival. What a career revival.
Good
going to
for
Atlanta.
him.
I mean, he came out flashy when he got drafted by the Vikings, but only as a kick returner. It never clicked as a receiver. Then he was with the Patriots. I think he was somewhere else as well. And then he goes to Atlanta, and dude's putting up numbers.
Dude's looking good.
He's a solid running back. Just had his 9th kick return of his career for a touchdown.
Broke the record, I believe, right?
Yep, breaking the NFL record. I think Josh Cribbs and Devin Hester both with 8 career kickoff returns for touchdowns.
Damn.
And it was funny on social media. Everyone's like, there were some tweets like Cordero Patterson, best kick returner of all times. People are like, hey, what about Devin Hester? Blah, blah. No. Devin Hester is the best punt returner of all time. Devin Hester was a great kick returner, but there have been at least 4 or 5 guys who are better at returning kickoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Devin Hester was the best punt returner. Best returner as a whole of all time. Yes, I'll give that to Devin Hester, but his real damage came in the punt game, not on the kickoffs.
Absolutely. And I do want to shout out Devin Hester because one of the happiest moments of my life was watching him return the opening kickoff against the Colts in the Super Bowl, I believe. And then the Bears ended up scoring no more points the rest of the game.
Well, they had Rex Grossman at quarterback. You know what? How much can you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, Rex Grossman versus Peyton Manning. Give me Peyton all day long. Let's keep it moving, Noah. I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Colts. Why, might as well. Colts in a close one with the Eagles, the Jeff Saturday era, coming in strong. I mean, I do want to talk about this first, Noah, because, you got a guy that comes in, doesn't do play calling, is just really a morale guy, is a leader. He knows the guys, what they're going through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He comes in, they rip off a win, they pull off a close one against the now 9-1 Eagles. I mean, I'm starting to think that Frank Reich as a whole just might not be a good head coach. And he kind of stumbled into success in Philadelphia with Big Dick Nick and just kind of everything falling into place. But, I mean, if a guy with no experience can come in off the street and literally from the analysis booth and turn a team around like this, I mean, they're not winning the Super Bowl anytime soon this year. But, I mean, they're playing better football.
Well, they're not even going to make the playoffs at this point, I don't think. The AFC's too. If they were in the NFC, they'd have a chance. But in the AFC, I don't think it happened. I think they miss out by like a game or 2. They are playing better since Saturday took over as coach. Eagles showing a little weakness last week and this week. But I'm not that surprised, AJ. I've been saying this for weeks now. I'm like, the Eagles have had an abnormally large amount of takeaways on defense. And once those start drying up, their defense is not that tough. Like you can put up yards and points on their defense. You just can't turn the ball over because they'll take advantage of that. Eagles got lucky to escape out of this one with a win. I still don't think the Colts are that good of a team. They're probably going to miss the playoffs still. I mean, they're still like 3.5 games back from
they're not making any like realistic moves
from Tennessee. Yeah. But, they're showing some life. I think it's it's too little, too late type of situation, but.
I mean, it is a little too late, but hey, good momentum going into next season. And unfortunately, they won't get as good of a draft pick probably. But the Eagles showing the weakness that we have seen from them in their defense and their offense, to be quite frank. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is still absolutely dynamic and controls that field. But if they're not clicking on all cylinders, they are a very beatable team very fast.
Ramsey's on the Rams. Jalen Hurts?
Yes, Noah, thank you.
Okay. Just clarifying there.
Yes, Hurts is amazing. Jalen Ramsey's also amazing, though. I do want to shout out him. Go ahead.
Yeah. You look at like the Eagles, the Vikings, the teams on top in the NFC. This is why, like I say, as a Packers fan, I'm like, if we just find a way to stumble into the playoffs, any team in the NFC who makes the playoffs will have a chance, because I don't think any team is dominant enough to go on a deep playoff run. The Vikings will choke, obviously. I think the Eagles will choke. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a wild card get in out of the NFC this year.
Yeah, I think it's a very real possibility. The NFC is just, they're all about the same. You know what I mean? There is no Chiefs of the NFC or there's no Bills of the NFC. They're all, like, the really good teams are really good, but there's no team that just absolutely stands out and you're like, oh, they're winning. They're winning everything.
Okay, I want to talk about the Bills, though, because...
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Bills.
They started the season looking really, really dominant, really good. They have the last 4 weeks. You go back 4 weeks. This game against the Browns, the Vikings last week, the Jets before, and the Packers before that. I'm getting a little worried if I'm a Bills fan. I mean, they're still going to be fine. They're still maybe going to. Well, I'm not even going to say probably going to win this division. They might win the division. They should make the playoffs. I'm not worried about that at all for this Bills team. But based on their performance the last 4 weeks, I'm a little nervous if I'm a Bills fan. The Packers aren't very good. You barely win that one. You blow it, and then you go and lose to the Jets, who have looked pretty decent this year, but it is still the Jets.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in a minute. Jesus.
And then you blow that lead to the Vikings. And then you go and barely beat the Browns. Yep. And granted, there's circumstances, so I'm willing to turn a blind eye at the Browns game here this past weekend because Buffalo did have to fly out Saturday morning to Detroit to play a Sunday morning game. But still not a good 4-week showing for the Bills. 2-2 could have been 0-4 over that stretch the way they've played. They're definitely a playoff team, but I'm considering downgrading them outside of that Super Bowl contender rank just based on the last 4 weeks.
Honest to God, and you have to compare them to the Chiefs. Why do you have to compare them to the Chiefs? Because of that amazing game they played last year in the in the second round of the AFC playoffs. All right, you got to compare the two because that will always. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are going to be compared the rest of their careers, and the difference between the two at this point is I know for a fact if I need a touchdown within the last 2 minutes, I am giving the ball to Patrick Mahomes, and he will figure some shit out. That is just what Patrick Mahomes has done in his entire career. Shout out to the Chiefs going back to winning and not covering. But with Josh Allen, I feel like it's almost a question. And not even Josh Allen, but just the Bills team in general. I feel like they're not built to go in those clutch moments. And, if the defense especially continues to slip up and lets a guy like Jacoby Brissett, who's a manageable quarterback, but he's a game manager, he threw for 324 yards. Are you kidding me? What would have happened if Deshaun was in there? What would have happened? I mean, we saw what Kirk did against that defense. It's a scary situation in Buffalo. I'm with you, Noah. I'm downgrading them. I still think they'll make the AFC Championship game because I do, in my heart of hearts, I think it's between Bills and Chiefs, depending on, of course, the routes and everything. But
yeah, Josh Allen's tough. It's like hitting on a 15,
Yeah, it's hitting on a 15 when the dealer's showing a 7.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. It could pay off big. You might draw a face card and just absolute bust, and he's throwing an interception in the end zone in the fourth quarter and another one in overtime, and then fumbling on the 1 yard line.
He's a more talented Carson Wentz. Because Carson Wentz is the same thing. You put the ball in Carson Wentz's hands, you really don't know if that ball is going to be completed or an interception, especially when he does his falling, shovel passes and bullshit.
I'm not putting the two in the same boat. Because
they both kind of just run over guys, throw their bodies around because they're bigger. Josh Allen's got a bigger arm, I'll give you that, and he's more accurate. But actually, I wouldn't even say he's more accurate. He turns the ball over more than almost any other quarterback.
Yeah, but you give me Josh Allen down 6 versus Carson Wentz in a tie ball game. I'm taking Josh Allen down 6.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. No, Yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say about Josh Allen and the Bills. The Browns, they're just waiting for Deshaun to come back. That defense looked half decent. offense, I mean, they're ready to roll. I feel like Deshaun's in that game. That might be a different outcome.
I think it's gonna be too little, too late though for him.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
At 3-7, like they'll be better, but I mean, if they lose to the Bucks and drop to 3-8, it's not gonna matter.
No, it's not.
They're not gonna run the table. I mean, they got when he comes back at Texans, at Bengals, home against the Ravens, home against the Saints, at Commanders, at Steelers. You know, they could go 5-2 in that stretch.
Ooh.
But then you're still looking at an 8-9 record, and you're not making the playoffs. So, like, it's not gonna matter.
No.
If anything, you just keep them out the rest of the season and get a better draft pick. Like,
yeah, no, I think and I floated this question a couple of weeks ago. If, they come down to it, they've only won 3 games. Do you put him in if it's a lost cause? Because you're still paying him a shit ton of money, absolutely. But would you want to risk him not being there early next season? That's going to be an interesting conversation in the Browns building. Deshaun still due back to return against the Texans in Week 13. Can't wait for that one early in the 1 o'clock slate.
Oh God, I can't wait for the chance that they have. And
they're going to mute the crowd. They're going to
hard.
mute the crowd. They're not going to allow those chants on national television. Because I got a couple I can think of, and they are not TV friendly. But
yeah, I was about to say one, but I don't know that it's YouTube friendly either. So
yeah, and again, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Help us continue to grow. We do appreciate the love. No, let's keep it moving though. Let's talk about a game that was beyond boring until about the last minute. 30 seconds. All right.
8 seconds.
8 seconds to be exact. Thank you, Noah. The Jets with Mr. No, I did not let down the defense, Zach Wilson, coming in and putting up an absolute stinker against the Patriots. 3-10. Patriots walk it off with a 103-yard return.
No.
It was close. It was something like that.
84.
Yeah, close enough. But, I mean, that game was, an example of, what's his name? Belichick having his way with a young quarterback and a young head coach. The Patriots playing Patriots football and, being in the right place at the right time. Good no call by the refs for the illegal block in the back. But, yeah, I'm kind of worried about the Jets, especially with Saleh coming in now and saying he's not committing to Zach Wilson next week. Like, that's just got to be posturing, right? You cannot, this late in the season when you're doing this well with Zach, throw in Joe Flacco.
I just punt the fucking ball out of bounds.
Yeah. Punt the ball out of bounds, go to OT, tie it up, and then, you're 6-4-1. I mean, 6-3-1.
Yeah, I believe touchdown was scored with 5 seconds. I believe there were 13 or 14 seconds left on the clock. Jets, punting from their own 30, 35, something. Just kick it out of bounds.
Kick it out of bounds.
Why are you, or kick it high enough that he can't even return it and force a fair catch? What are you doing?
Yeah, that was.
I mean, not that punts get returned for touchdowns very often, but I'd rather fucking defend a Hail Mary than a than a punt return.
Yeah.
Oh man, just kick it out of bounds. Kick it out of bounds. I don't understand what's going on there. Maybe Robert Saleh, young in his tenure for head coach, he'll learn from this one, and you won't ever see him in a situation with like less than 30 seconds left kicking to a kick return or a punt returner ever again. God, both offenses looked dismal in this game, or both defenses looked really good. I don't know. Spin it however you want. Yeah, I mean, going back to Zach Wilson, like, he hasn't looked very good stat-wise, but, the Jets were, 1-2 with Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
They're now 5-2 with Zach Wilson as quarterback.
It's not a conversation. It's not a conversation. You leave him in.
It might be if he was throwing costly interceptions that were costing you the game. I mean, I know he went 9 for 22 for 77 yards, not pretty, but he didn't like blow the game with a bad pick or anything. I mean, Mac Jones 23 of 27 for 246, but didn't
Didn't do
manufacture any more
anything. Yeah.
points. I don't think he can bench Zach Wilson yet.
No.
I think it's
Too
fair
early.
to like have his job kind of on thin ice right now. But I don't know that Joe Flacco provides you with anything better.
I don't see the value. I don't see the value whatsoever in putting Joe Flacco in late in the season when Zach Wilson is doing good and has a bad game. I mean, people have a bad day in the office, and I get it. You know, we live in a world where everyone plays Madden and they think everyone's a Madden player whenever they step on the field. But people have bad days in the office. Shit happens. Go Zach.
Hey, let's talk about a team that's having a bad season in the office.
In Rams, Jesus Christ.
The defending Super Bowl champion, LA Rams, off to the worst start in a season following a Super Bowl victory by any team ever in the NFL.
Shout out. 3-7.
They are not clicking on any cylinder.
No, none. I feel like when Von Miller, OBJ left, they took away the secret formula for the Rams because they look flat. They just look flat everywhere. They look like they don't want to be there. They don't want to play.
They didn't even lose that many players, which is the weird thing. It's like they should have been good still this year, and they're just not.
No, they're not. And I mean, it's not like the Saints are looking much better. It was a close game, 20-27. I don't. What is Andy Dalton doing starting still? I cannot put my finger on that one. Everything I'm reading and seeing says, you know, Jameis is healthy and ready to go. He was quoted today saying, I don't know how I lost my job when I was injured. And especially to a guy like Andy Dalton. I mean, yeah, congrats. You've won in a couple
He had
games.
a great game, though.
Dalton? Great game. Yeah, 21-25, 260. I mean, 3 touchdowns. Hell of a game. Don't get me wrong. He's still a solid quarterback. But from everything I understood going into the season, this was Jameis's job and Jameis's team. And I still think you can win more games with Jameis than Dalton under center.
Yeah, and my whole thing, like, you know, you can look at stats and everything, but there were some Saints games where, like, Dalton threw 2 or 3 picks, and I'm like the Cardinals one, for example, where he threw 2 pick sixes, and I'm like, Jameis can throw 2 pick sixes and also have, like, 3 more touchdowns on the board.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. God, what was it for the Saints? You know, what were they, like 2-1 with Jameis Winston?
Yeah, they weren't playing bad.
They were 1-2.
Oh.
But
still.
You know, 1-2 with Jameis, and now you're 3-5 with Andy Dalton.
Like, fine.
I don't know that it makes too much difference at this point, but like the difference is like the Saints brought in Jameis to see what they had in Jameis, and he got off to a 5-2 start last year, tore his ACL, only got 3 games this year before getting injured. And now they're not giving him a chance. Like you brought him in for a reason. And now you're playing an old ass, you know, 37-year-old veteran quarterback who's
serviceable.
He's not your future. You might as well play Jameis and like find out for sure if he can or cannot be your future. Because I would think you would want to do that if you're the Saints, but apparently not. The shit's falling apart after Sean Payton left, I guess.
Has Andy Dalton been a quarterback for the Colts yet?
No,
he was with the Bears last, right?
Yeah, well, he played 9 years or something like that for the Bengals.
Yeah, and then went to the
Cowboys, then the Bears.
That's right. Interesting. But
give
Jameis another shot. That's what I would do. Noah, I would like to officially declare the New York Giants
Grit
as dead.
Grit.
31-18 Lions. Come out swinging, take it away from the Giants. Giants 7-3 now.
3 straight. Three straight for the Motor City Pitty Kitties, baby.
Hey, Lions can compete, bro. They got some grit. They can play some football, bro. And they're proving it. They're coming out here balling. Defense still a little questionable, but hey, they only let the Giants put up 18, and those points mostly coming in the fourth quarter in garbage time. Dan Campbell, Lions, shout out. Congratulations for killing the New York Giants. Giants, good run. Welcome back to mediocrity. It's nice to have you back.
I told you they're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, you were right. You were right, Noah. They're definitely missing the playoffs. They just got no shot. They're dead. Great start.
I don't know if I've ever said that about a 6-1 team before, but Giants sitting at 6-1, and I said, watch them miss the playoffs. Watch them miss the playoffs. And I feel even better about that now with them sitting at 7-3. It's going to come down to like week 17, week 18.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to somehow lose.
They're going to pull a Colts and lose to the Jags.
Yeah, well.
Or whoever.
They probably play, I mean, tough division. They played the Eagles last week. They got, and the rest of their schedule is Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, Colts, Eagles. They could lose out.
And the Giants have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Congratulations, New York. Talk about another team, Noah, that's eliminated mathematically from the playoffs. The Panthers taking an L to the Ravens, 3-13. Ravens
but looking good doing it.
Yeah, they looked hella good doing it.
Story of their season.
Ravens finally breaking that can't win in the fourth quarter, can't come in clutch as they score 10 points to put it away. But yeah, slow start for the Ravens. Not something I'm overly concerned about in general. The Panthers have been playing hard football lately. And, I mean, you got Baker in there, and Baker's the most competent quarterback there. Good game. Good game by the Ravens. Good game by the Panthers. Panthers still absolutely suck, though. Oh, and Lamar Jackson's contract has got to be worth at least $550 now.
Yeah, I mean, Ravens continuing to do what they do, winning games, not looking super pretty doing it. That's been the story of their season.
Yeah.
And, they're sitting at 7-3. And, yep, and all three of their losses were fourth quarter blown leads.
Yep.
I like this Ravens team a lot to potentially come out of the AFC.
Oh, I see it. I totally see
it. Because, yeah, I mean, those first 5-6 weeks having 3 blown fourth quarter leads, which were against good teams, but still tough. If you're a Ravens fan, it's like really frustrating because you're like, God, this team could have potentially been 10-0 at this point. And then, that's a big hypothetical, but they know how to win games. They have Lamar Jackson. And just imagine what his price tag will be if he wins a Super Bowl and wins a Super Bowl MVP.
They honestly should just probably give him part ownership of the team at that point.
When he's demanding a $75 million a year contract, and they're like,
how's 5% of the team?
We'll give you stock options. We'll give you partial ownership instead.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that would take off at least $300-400 mil.
But yeah, the Panthers on the flip side of that continue to lose a lot of games, but they don't look terrible doing so. They're somehow playing all right.
Yeah, they play fine. They play good. They play decent football. It's watchable, unlike the Texans. But
like they're not a shoo-in to lose every week.
No, they're one of those underdogs you take a look at and you're like, could this be their week? Maybe, but probably not. So I'm not going to take them. Give me the other side. Give me the spread. But Noah, let's talk about bad football. I mean, Texans and Commanders. Texans, Like, I didn't watch this game. I watched highlights of this game. What highlights there were, I guess you could say. But everything I saw from the Texans, just bad football all the way around. Commanders continue to win despite the house burning around them, you could say. But probably the best thing that's going to happen to that team is getting Dan Snyder out of there and getting some half-decent people in ownership.
Well, they have good players.
They do have good players. People forget that.
And Ron Rivera's got this team playing well. You know, his ass was on straight burning coals coming into the season. And I think he's all right now. He's got the team above 500. They are last place in the division, but you know, crazy to say they're 6-5 and in last place in the division.
Strong division now. NFC beast.
They got off to what, a 1-3, 1-4 start this season too. They're hot right now. They are hot. I think 1-3 start. I think they're 5-2 in their last 7.
Well, that's also because they switched it over to Taylor Heineke. It's his show now, and he's balling.
Yeah, they got Glassbones out of there.
Yeah, finally. And Heineke, again, if you're listening, please hear me out. Go over to Heineken and get that sponsorship. Just get it done. All right?
I'm sure you're hardly the first person to say that.
I understand, but I'm going to continue to say it until it happens. Heineke, get your ass over there. It's already written for you. It's already written.
Yeah, and Washington, they've got, looks like they got Falcons, Giants, bye week, Giants again. Could be a huge swing in the landscape of the NFC beast there.
It could be.
Where you got Commanders, Giants playing 2 games in a row. If one of those 2 teams wins both of those games, that is a massive thing. If they split, that's probably, if you're the Giants or or not the Giants, if you're the Cowboys or the Eagles, you're probably hoping they just split those.
Yeah.
But if either team wins both of those, you know, that, then they got the Niners, the Browns, the Cowboys, and so not an easy schedule for the Commanders either. But
we'll find out.
They could squeak into a wild card spot.
Yeah, they might as well.
You
know who they remind me of, Noah? You know who they remind me of?
Depending on what happens, which it looks like San Francisco is going to win this, so they're going to be a half game outside of a wild card spot because the Niners are going to jump into that number 7 spot here after they beat the Cardinals.
24-10 in the third quarter. The Cardinals are dead. We'll talk about that in a minute. They'll be behind, but they still got a chance. They remind me so much of that 2018 Bears team with Mitch Trubisky, who accidentally stumbled into a wild card spot and then got absolutely demolished. But hey, they still made the wild card and cost us getting a good draft pick in another year with Trubisky. But the Commanders are poised to be that team. Taylor Heineke coming in. He's just balling.
How do you not, especially if this continues through the rest of the season, how do you not just sign Heineke to a contract and let him be your quarterback? This is like 2 or 3 years in a row now that he has been the best quarterback on the roster, and they keep bringing in other quarterbacks to try to, like, and then Heineke ends up as a backup and then somehow works his way back into the starter role, whether it's injury or something else, and then does better than anybody else. Like, just let the man have the starting job and let him play a whole season and see what he can do.
Hey, get him. He wins a playoff game, he's signed. He wins a playoff game, he's signed. But honestly, at this point, the way he's playing, if the Commanders don't sign him, some other team will. Like, I see him going.
He deserves it at this point.
He does. He could go and he could be a Raider. He could be a Bronco. He could be a Panther. He could be not a Jag. But yeah, he could be any of those teams. Honest to God, he's better than most of those quarterbacks. Speaking of a good segue, let's talk about the game that absolutely nobody gave a shit about, but that was supposed to be a really good game and was free football that nobody asked for. Raiders and the Broncos, the teams of mediocrity, go into OT. Raiders walk away with it 22-16. We finally saw the Devontae and Derek Carr connection. That was fun.
Well, this is a third game this season. They just haven't been able to do it consistently.
True.
Like, I think Devontae is still top 10 in every single receiving stat. He's just been very quiet about it because over half of that has come over like 3 or 4 games.
True.
So he's had like 3 or 4 monster games and then been pretty quiet the rest of the time. This was another. Well, he's had 2 monster games in 3 weeks now, I think.
Yes, that rings true.
Did he go off against the Colts?
I think everyone goes off against the Colts.
9 for 126 and a touchdown. A little bit quieter of a game there against the Colts, I guess, for him.
A little bit.
10 for 146 and 2 tutties against the Jaguars the week before that. Oh, and then they got shut out by the Saints the week before that. But you look at the last 3 weeks, though, averaging, 7, 8 catches, over 100 yards, and got 5 touchdowns over that 3-week span. We might be seeing Devontae coming alive. My favorite part about this game, the only part of the game that I saw at all because it showed up on Twitter, was Devontae scoring the walk-off touchdown in overtime and then waving bye-bye to the Broncos fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Both these teams suck,
They're
but
so bad.
You know what? The Raiders, for the first time this season, moved out of the basement in the AFC West.
Woo, congratulations to them. They can go ahead and let the Broncos take that spot where they rightfully deserve. Noah, it brings me so much joy that the entire world gets to see on a regular basis how mediocre Russ is. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the Broncos paying the ultimate price for him, signing him to a massive deal for what, another 4 years, right?
I don't remember how long the contract is.
Who knows? Maybe the Bears will get desperate and sign him. That would be a total Bears move. But let's talk about another team that's absolutely disappointing and proves that they are not real. They are, in fact, fake. That being the Cowboys and the Vikings. Vikings taking the fattest L of the season. It was such a bad L that they took that the feed was cut. And we were then shown Steelers and Bengals because, yeah, that one was actually exciting, believe it or not. Cowboys destroy the Vikings 40-3. I mean, just put up numbers on them. The entire team looked unbelievable. Dak Prescott, 22 for 25, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Tony Pollard
going off for 15 carries, 80 yards, and 6 receptions.
Sacks.
Jesus Christ, for
7
Parsons.
Sacks for that Cowboys defense, who has the most sacks in NFL history through 10 games now.
They're unbelievable. I hate to say that. I hate saying this so much, but this Cowboys team looks unbelievable.
I want to say they have. It's probably 41. For some reason, I'm thinking 51 sacks. It's probably 41, but 4.1 per game average sounds a lot more reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, still the most sacks in NFL history through 10 weeks. Dallas Cowboys. I've been saying it since like week 2, AJ. That defense is legit.
We've been on this Cowboys bandwagon.
Well, and here's the scary thing is this offense seems like it's starting to click now. Dak's starting to get back into a rhythm after coming back.
Yeah.
This could be a very good Cowboys team who I did pick to win the division at the beginning of the year, and I've never wavered on that this entire season, AJ. I'm not doing it yet. I'm still not wavering on them.
Hey, I wouldn't.
They're only 2 games back from the Eagles, got 1 more head-to-head against them. Watch out for them boys.
Hey,
I hate that I'm saying that, but watch out for them boys. They're good. And welcome to the downslide of the Minnesota Vikings. It was only a matter of time before they started choking. They do wear the color purple for a reason. Yeah, they got a fun slate coming up here. Lose the Cowboys, but they got the Patriots, then the Jets, They get a little bit of a break with the Lions, which don't count them out. They've won 3 in a
About
row.
to say, might not be much of a break.
Colts, Giants, Packers, and then the Bears. If the Packers can find a way to beat the Eagles and the Vikings lose their next two games against the Patriots and the Jets, both are at home. But things get a little interesting at that point.
No, I hate to say it, but I don't see the Vikings winning the division.
Oh, I do, but I'm just saying that door gets cracked open a little bit if the Vikings lose their next 2 games.
Oh, it does, and I think it should be because the Vikings are going to choke because that's what the Vikings do.
And then you have to ask for what team? Are we talking about the Packers or are we talking about the Detroit Lions, who happen to be a half a game above the Packers in the division right now?
You know what? If you told me at the beginning of the season that the Packers and the Lions had an option to maybe win the division, I would have thought you were on some ayahuasca shit. But here we are, week 11, and there's a path for the Detroit Lions to make it to the playoffs. Shout out Dan Campbell and shout out Detroit again. They're looking unfreaking believable, along with the Cowboys. And not to mention, the Cowboys might be getting better as well on offense, as I believe OBJ is scheduled for a visit.
Yes, this is true. OBJ visiting the Cowboys and the Giants this week, but AJ, I think he's going to the Cowboys. I think he's going to the Cowboys. And if you were looking for another reason to believe in the Cowboys, I mean, OBJ going there, holy shit.
That's disgusting. Who do you double? Who do you double? Who do you double, Noah?
Yeah, and you got fans speculating from every fan base like, oh, OBJ coming here. The Eagles were one of them, but not one of the teams OBJ listed as that he's interested in.
No, and I think he sees it that everyone else sees. That's why the Vikings weren't listed.
Oh, I think he wants to go to the Cowboys and play spoiler. He's played in that division before. Playing for the Giants. I mean, I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but maybe he hates the Eagles more than he hates the Cowboys. I don't know. Or you got your dark horse, Kansas City Chiefs.
Always a possibility. Always. That would be disgusting as well. He would have the most impact on the Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Yeah, especially with Juju and now Kadarius Toney injured. Like but it sounds like him and the Cowboys.
Oh, and Jerry's going to give him so much money.
Is going to happen. Oh, well, that's the other thing, too. He goes to any other team, they're paying him like a little bit over the veteran minimum. He goes to the Cowboys, and they're going to somehow find a way to pay him $8 million a year.
Listen, your signing bonus is going to be worth more than you've made in the NFL, okay? And we'll still pay you league men. Do you want in or not?
Pay him a prorated $8 million salary.
Or shit, they sign a Bobby Bonilla deal. And it's like, all right, no. We'll just pay you for the next 25 years. It's okay. Oh, that'd be great. But anyway, moving to the game that Cowboys-Vikings was changed to because the Vikings were getting, again, the absolute piss kicked out of them. And I love saying that any chance I get. Bengals-Steelers, an actual barn burner. 37-30. Bengals take it away. Steelers are dead. Bengals may fuck around and make the playoffs, and I don't think they're not going to go on another run like they did, but I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're kind of the same boat as last year. Like, they're a good team.
Yeah, they're fine.
They just got hot at the right moment last year. As you said, I don't see that happening this year. I think they squeak in with a wild card. The Ravens are winning this division. The Steelers look bad.
Yeah.
Steelers are just bad. Steelers are bad. Browns are bad. We expected this division to be like pretty competitive with Like, we expected it to be Ravens, Bengals on top, Steelers, Browns on the bottom half, but we expected Steelers, Browns to be holding up the weight of this division a little bit better, which they have not been doing. Yeah, I think the Bengals still make it into the playoffs, but this is the Ravens division. They're going to win it.
Yeah, Ravens win it, Bengals fuck around and make it in. And that leads us to Sunday Night Football. This is always a good game. It's always a good game, and I know it was said so many times, but it is.
As of the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
2
it's
years.
fine, fair enough. For the last 3 or 4 years, always a good game. Always a good game. Chiefs, Chargers. Chiefs doing their thing, winning, not covering, 30-27 against the Chargers. The Chargers continue to disappoint me to no end, Noah. And not because they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad. They're 5-5. They're playing good football. But they're just always almost there. You know what I mean? They are that piece of chocolate that is dangling in front of you, and you just can never fucking get it.
The Chargers are still the Chargers.
Yeah.
The Chargers are still the fucking Chargers.
They are. It's disappointing.
That's the biggest thing this season is they are the same as they have been. And they had higher expectations this season, but they still find a way to be in games, and they're a lot like the Vikings, where almost every single one of their games seems like it's a one-possession game one way or the other. And it's just whether they find themselves on the right or the wrong side of that. I do want to point out, though, the Raiders also fit into this boat with both the Chargers and the Chiefs. It always seems to, like, those three teams. The Broncos are just, the ugly stepchild that doesn't always compete.
No.
But if you look back at the last 3-4 years, like Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, you take any of those three teams and put two of them against each other, it's always a tight one. It's always a tight one.
Always a tight one, Noah. Shout out to the Chiefs. I would like to say the Chiefs are still the only team in the NFL that I have full confidence to win almost every single game. Like, it doesn't matter if they're down or anything. It comes to the last 2 minutes. Patrick Mahomes has the ball in hand. I feel like they're going to win the game.
I mean, look at the last couple of weeks alone. There were 2 or 3 games. They were down and needed to come back. Not the Jaguars, but Titans, they had to come from behind, score, and get a 2-point conversion just to force it to overtime. This one against the Chargers, they had to come back to win. I guess those are the only 2 the last few weeks. But
also, I do want to mention...
But that's 2 games in 3 weeks that they had to come back and win. There's been 3 or 4 this season as a whole, and this team knows how to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes knows how to get it done. Andy Reid is an incredible coach. Bieniemy does a great job with that offense. Travis Kelce,
God, just
potentially the second best tight end of all time behind Rob Gronkowski.
Yes,
crazy that we've been able to, for pretty much our whole time growing up, watch the 2 best tight ends ever. And no disrespect to Tony Gonzalez.
No
and Antonio
disrespect. We're too old. We're too young.
Any of those guys? No, not too young, because I caught
too young to appreciate.
Caught the second half of both of their careers.
I know, so did I. I was saying too young to appreciate.
It's just the fact that Rob Gronkowski, who a lot of people who have watched a lot of football across multiple generations will agree, Rob Gronkowski, probably the best tight end of all time. Travis Kelce not quite getting the same respect. A lot of people are saying he's a borderline top 5. No. I'm saying Travis Kelce, especially if he continues this for another 4 or 5 years, which I think he will. I don't think he passes Gronk, because he's prime Kelce is not ever going to be better than prime Gronk. But fuck, Kelce might be the second best tight end of all time.
He really might be, and it proves solid every single week. I mean, that is almost a more deadly combo than, peanut butter and chocolate. Just absolute, just amazing. Just incredible. I don't know why I said deadly. I am not thinking straight. Noah, work was long today. I was there late. But it doesn't...
Cyanide and chocolate.
Thank you, Noah. Like cyanide and chocolate. Thank you, Noah. Or a toaster in a bathtub. Let's go with that. How about that? But yeah, shout out to the Chiefs, looking incredible. Noah, because this game is over, and it was pretty much over when it started because the Cardinals are that bad at the football. Let's talk about Monday Night Football wrapping up here. It's in the fourth quarter, but it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. 49ers are up 31-10 as of this recording. Look for them to be up by 50 by the end of this game. Kyler Murray with a quote-unquote hamstring injury, not playing, so our boy Colt McCoy got the start. Noah, the Cardinals are like my ex-girlfriend. Uninteresting, disappointing, and just guaranteed to get my hopes up and just shatter them. And I mean shatter them, bro.
You see Kittle just score another touchdown there?
Yes, 37-10. I told you they're going to be up by 50 by the end of this game. They're that ex-girlfriend that cheats on you, comes back and says, I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again, and then cheats on you again. They are that job that says, if you just stay with this company for a year, we'll get you promoted, and you're in that same position for 5 years. The Cardinals are like taking a bath and having the idea to eat toast in there. I know I used that twice, but that's what it's like, okay? Because being a Cardinals fan is being okay with just this team disappointing you over and over and over again. From the front office to hiring a coach that can't finish and can't even start apparently, to signing the quarterback that is out because of a hamstring injury, while other quarterbacks are playing with 2 broken ankles and many other injuries. You got fighting on the sideline between the number 1 receiver and the quarterback. You got a defense and a coaching staff that seems uninspired and ready to play. And that is proving here today as they are getting their asses handed to them in Mexico City in prime time. The Cardinals are dead. The Cardinals will be dead next year. And the Cardinals will be dead until Kyler Murray is off of our books. R.I.P. Arizona Cardinals for the next 3 seasons. I have seen enough. Let's clean house. And let's move on. With that being said, shout out Jimmy G, still the best looking quarterback in this league. Terrible by ESPN to show a video of Jimmy G and then Colt McCoy. How dare you? And yeah, George Kittle is an incredible tight end as well. Sorry, Noah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
AJ, I think you're just misremembering what the expectations were for the Cardinals this season.
I believe it was a fucking Super Bowl, Noah.
No. I think you're misremembering.
Oh, really? What were our expectations?
I don't know, but less than that, right?
They should have been, but no, everyone was super hyped about this Cardinals team. Oh, D-Hop's going to be out the first 6 weeks. It doesn't matter. They got Kyler Murray. He just signed a big contract. He's awesome.
Hey, well, that wraps up our NFL slate. AJ, I got to get geared up for this Arizona basketball game.
Hell yeah, bro.
It's going to be a late night here. I'm going to be pretty tired at work tomorrow, but hey, fucking no regrets.
No regrets, you know what I'm saying?
Kick the snot out of Cincinnati and then focus on San Diego State tomorrow. San Diego State, who, if the Pac-12 continues to be a thing, could be there. Real quick note, completely unrelated, but I feel like I have to bring it up because it just popped into my mind. Have you seen how UCLA is having a lot of difficulties and hoops to jump through to get out of the Pac-12?
No.
Good old state of California is trying to cuck UCLA into staying in the Pac-12.
You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding me.
I think they're still gonna leave, but like USC is fine because they're a private school.
Yeah. They can do whatever the hell they want. The UCLA State.
UCLA being a state school, the state of California cucking them, the fact that they are a University of California program, there's also some stipulation that they might have to give a percentage of their Big Ten revenue to the University of California, which is the ultimate win if you're Cal.
Yeah.
Because you get some of that Big Ten money without even going to the Big Ten. You still get 30-40% of that Big Ten money. It Yeah, not to get political or anything, but state of California, like, I'm laughing my ass off
That's
because
awesome.
they're like,
Oh,
are you sure you want to go?
this is
Like
great for the
like night
program and everything, great for the kids, great for our students. Yeah, and it's also going to be great for Cal. So go ahead, have fun.
state of California's like knife to their throat. Oh, are you sure
Are you
you want to
sure? Are you
go?
sure? No, really.
Or,
Do you want to go?
I don't think this is a very good decision for you.
I would reconsider, but hey, bear down, go Cats. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help us continue to grow. We're at like 182 subscribers now, bro. Like, shout out to all the Degens out there, keeping the channel alive, keeping us doing what we love doing. Be a friend, tell a friend. We'll be back later this week with obviously NFL bets, Thanksgiving bets. Happy Thanksgiving out there to everybody. And everything else in between. Like, share, subscribe to the channel for more. And with that being said, I've been the Brofect1 AJ. That's the Money Train Noah. We'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.